Today, we're making two incredibly delicious plant-based upgrades to your morning routine. A warm, spiced carrot cake baked oatmeal and a gooey, indulgent tiramisu baked oatmeal. These are high in protein, zero refined sugar, and just an all-around good gift to your future self. Let's talk about what we need for our carrot cake version. Rolled oats, plant-based milk, ground flaxseed, maple syrup, vanilla extract, coconut oil, baking powder, fresh carrots, fresh apple, fresh lemon, pecans, raisins, and some spices. Okay, we're starting with our prep, beginning with our pecans. Give these a rough chop, add them to a bowl, and set them aside for later. Next, we're shredding our apples. I'm using a gala apple to bring some of that natural sweetness to the dish. Other options could be like a Honeycrisp or a Fuji. The goal is to get natural sweetness in here. So say you don't have an apple, you could lean towards shredded coconut, or coconut shreds I should say. While you won't get the same texture, it will bake up really nice and be pretty good. Put the shredded apple aside and let's prep our carrots. We're doing the same thing with these carrots, but we're gonna do them a bit finer than we did the apple. I mean, this is carrot cake, so we really want this to be incorporated along with the oats. And once that's done, you guessed it, add them to a bowl and set them aside too. Next, in a small bowl, add baking powder, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground nutmeg, and some salt. Mix that together until well combined. Here, we're going to use some ground flaxseed to make what's known as a flax egg. We're simply adding water to the ground flaxseed, then mixing it together and letting it sit just for a little bit until it becomes gelatinous, and this will serve as an additional binding ingredient. All right, medium bowl. Add your plant milk, maple syrup, coconut oil, vanilla extract, and that flax egg. Stir to combine. Once that's ready, let's move on to adding our dry ingredients. We're making this all one bowl, so next to go in is your oats, followed by your spices and baking powder. Then take your time, stir this all together until well combined. We're all using rolled oats here, right? I ask because I've definitely had dad brain in the past where I have used steel cut oats instead. Let's just say it's like eating a bowl of warm gravel, and your kids won't trust you for a little while. A few years maybe. For our last step before baking, fold in your shredded carrots, apple, lemon zest, pecans, and lastly, if you start stirring, and remember you wanted to add something else, those raisins would fit perfect here. Stir really well until everything is evenly distributed. Now, you could add this mixture to an 8x8 brownie pan, or I went with the cast iron skillet, just to show you that there are other options out there to make this work. Don't let anything hold you back. This one is really good. Spread it out evenly to ensure an even cook time. Before you put this in the oven, you could always top it with a bit more pecans, walnuts, or whatever you feel for a little extra crunch. This is going into the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. With that in the oven baking, I'm making a totally optional topping. In a small bowl, I'm adding plant yogurt and maple syrup. I'm using this to create a cream cheese style frosting, you know, which you would normally see on a carrot cake. As for you, you can use actual vegan cream cheese or even coconut cream. But I chose to go with a plant-based protein yogurt to add to that full factor. When ready, take your baked oatmeal out the oven and let it cool. Drizzle on that cream cheese style topping, either by pouring or shaking your spoon rapidly, hoping that it lands right on the carrot cake baked oatmeal. Before we wrap up this one, I want to talk about the texture for a quick second. This would be best described as soft and chewy. Not as firm as like a an actual cake, but certainly not as soft as mushy oatmeal either. Think of it like a soft, warm breakfast bar. But if you're looking for a closer to cake texture, a bit more firm, you could partially blend up some of the oats, creating something like an oat flour. Better yet, like quick oats texture, not quite as fine as flour. That would create then a finer crumb. You could mix it with some of the regular oats and ta-da, you got something a bit more firm. All right, next up is tiramisu baked oatmeal. Oddly enough, I don't even like coffee, but tiramisu has like, I don't know, it feels like more like a mocha thing to me. So I don't mind that. Therefore, this option was like a no-brainer. Here's what we need to make that tiramisu baked oatmeal version. Rolled oats, Dutch processed cocoa powder, plant milk, plant yogurt, chia seeds, maple syrup, vanilla extract, instant espresso powder or instant coffee, baking powder, and some spices. First, we're going to prep our ingredients. We're using a chia egg for this one, for no special reason other than to show you that you can do it flax seeds or chia seeds, in either or. We're gonna add our water right to the chia seeds and mix it together. To me, chia seeds tend to get a lot more gelatinous than flax seeds do. Next, we need to prep our espresso soak. I always mix up espresso and espresso. I don't know. Do you do that? I'm adding instant espresso powder to some hot plant milk, then simply stirring until fully dissolved. We're doing this early, so this way it cools while we build our base. Okay, so I don't drink coffee, and because of that, I always assumed espresso was simply just a strong cup of coffee. But when making this recipe, I Googled it, and it's like 5 times stronger than a cup of coffee. And some people add espresso to their coffee when drinking it. Okay, that's concerned. Now, in a small bowl, we're going to bring together cinnamon, salt, and baking powder. Whisk that together and set aside. From here, we're bringing in a large bowl. I'm using the same one I used for the carrot cake, just saving on dishes. Add in your rolled oats and Dutch processed cocoa powder. I like to use Dutch process here because it helps keeps the bitterness under control. Then simply give that a quick stir before adding in our wet ingredients. Now follow this up with plant milk, maple syrup, plant yogurt, vanilla extract, and that chia egg. Stir it together until it's well combined and every oat is hydrated. Grab your pan or skillet and add the mixture in. I started to add this into the wrong pan, but then realized and switched it up. So don't mind me. Even it out so it bakes properly. And we're putting this one in the oven, the same temperature, 375 degrees, for only 22 to 25 minutes. You notice that this one takes less time than the carrot cake version. That's because we're going for something a bit more gooier, you know, like a spoonable kind of texture. No worries, it will still hold together. While that bakes, we're going to make our mascarpone cream. In a bowl, we're combining plant-based yogurt, a little maple syrup, and some vanilla extract. Mix that together until silky smooth. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, you could use thick cashew cream or even silken tofu to really get that aesthetically thick tiramisu top layer. When the oats just finish up, pull it out and do not let it cool yet. This is important. While it's hot, you can use a knife or you could see me using a back of a chopstick here to poke holes across the surface, kind of like you would do with a poke cake. Now we're gonna pour in that espresso right over top. The heat helps the oats absorb the coffee rather than just letting it pool at the bottom. If it pools at the bottom because, I don't know, maybe you forgot and you did let it cool before this step, then you made espresso cereal. Somebody wants that, right? Give it about 10 minutes to soak in. Then spread your mascarpone topping evenly across the top. Finally, finish it off with a generous dusting of dark cocoa powder. The texture on this one is much creamier. It's closer to an overnight oat texture, but one that holds its shape. This is basically dessert for breakfast, and I'm here for that. And there you have it. 2 ways to set yourself up for an amazing week by kicking boring breakfast to the curb. Both recipes here are linked in the description, or you can head right on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. Until next time. And I know it's been tough, but remember, believe in good. Peace.